Alright, this is part 7, I think, of the spring development that I'm doing. So at this stage right here, I've got pretty much the entire spring head filled in with rocks. I still need to add a little bit more. I could go all the way up to the dam level, but I might also cut the dam down slightly, maybe just like a little bit, so I don't have to use as many rocks. The water's a little bit murky because I've been, throwing rocks in there and stuff, but it's nice and, clear. It's clearing up pretty good. So I have the 2 pipes that were coming out the bottom are buried, and you'll see there's a lot of water right here. There's a lot of water here when we filled in the dirt and the rocks and stuff, and I'm thinking that it's just kind of being displaced to the top because of all the dirt and stuff on top of it. However, this spring is kind of interesting because there was water coming out from this whole side, mainly that corner, and then this whole side here, water was coming out, and there was actually a spot right here where the kind of creek was, it kind of runs down, where water was pouring out from like the side right here. And I guess this spring is, and there was also water bubbling out of the ground, so this is kind of like a rock face spring slash kind of like a seep spring where it's kind of coming out of, everywhere from the ground and all over. But anyways, so I've got that main black pipe right there, which was the original pipe for the pump, and I've got the electrical wire coming out the ground, and I've got the 2 that were coming out of the spring, the collection system. I went ahead and piped the 2 that were coming out of the collection system together, and it seems like I'm getting, a lot of good pressure out of it. I wasn't quite sure what to do with that extra one, but I went ahead and just piped it together. This is the one for the pump, and I've got my spring box over here. This is a pretty interesting setup. It's pretty much the same thing as, any other collection system spring box, but mine's just kind of custom. I kind of built it myself. So basically, let's start with the electrical. I've got the electrical coming out of this tank fitting, and just like an extra little fitting, I put some pipe dope on there just to help seal it. And I've got the electrical coming out to the original wire up there. I connected that all up, so that's all, the same as far as under the house goes. This is the pipe coming out for the pump. I put a union in just in case. Well, actually, if I ever want to take this lid off, what I do is I unscrew it. I think it's kind of tight, for one hand. So what I do is I unscrew that like that, disconnect the union, and then this whole thing pops out. There's a rubber seal underneath, so this thing is nice and sealed. I'm really happy with how this thing is set up. Got another tank fitting, pipe dope right here to seal it. I need to find some type of silicone for the inside of this. It's a really tight fit on this black pipe. Like, this thing won't really move at all, but I should seal it with silicone just for, whatever may happen. I'm gonna cover this whole area right here with like a sheet metal and maybe some plastic and stuff just to help seal it in. But I'll be able to like lift it up whenever I want to do maintenance, or if I have to, clean out the tank or anything. Let's see. This is the inlet for the spring, and I'm getting 1 gallon in 8 seconds. Consistently, I tried it, about 5 to 10 times, consistently 8 seconds for 1 gallon, which is about 7.5 gallons per minute. And if you do the calculations, that's roughly like 10,800 gallons a day. It's crazy. It's more water than I could possibly hope to use in a day. So it's pretty insane. And then this right here, of course, is the overflow, which I've got running down the creek. I may connect that to the ram pump one day. I'm not quite sure. The thing about this electric pump is when it kicks on, it goes from 30 to 55 psi, or 35 to 55, something like that. The water level drops about 4 inches, so I've got plenty of water for the house. There's no problem there. But the overflow gets bottomed out for about 5 to 10 seconds. And that creates air in the system, which is not good for a ram. You really don't want air in a system at all. So I'll have to see if the standpipe will remedy that or not. Anyways, I've got lots of concrete in here, trying to seal up all the walls. There's, This land is so wet. There's just springs everywhere. I've got multiple springs on the property, and there's just water coming out, you know, from everywhere. Of course, I am next to a creek, but it seems like it's doing pretty good. It's been like this for a couple hours, and it's doing pretty good. So hopefully that will last. If not, I'll have to come up with some type of drainage system, or I might just have to bury it like all the way up here, you know, right over the pipes or something. I really want to leave these exposed because the water is flowing, so it'll never freeze. This pipe up here could potentially freeze in the winter because this is still water in here. This is the pump, of course. It's not, you know, it's not flowing right now. So that's why I want to build the cover. I guess that's about it for now. Just wanted to give a quick update on everything. I'm thinking I just kind of need to finish burying that and filling that in. Oh, like I was saying earlier, this whole area, you know, is still leaking out the sides. I couldn't collect all of it, but the water level inside the spring is remaining that exact same height with the system that I've got. It's been like that for about 3 or 4 days now. I really need to cover it up and get that done as soon as possible. So I'm happy with the height and the water flow. You can see right here, is what I was going to show you, flowing water that's coming out of my mound here. And like I was saying, there is a spot, you know, right here somewhere coming out from the side where there's kind of an extra spring, or I guess it's from the same spring, but it was just kind of flowing through the ground. There's not really any way to collect that. I could have, you know, gone all the way up here with the dam, but then I'd have to backfill like 3 times as much, and that would just be a bit more than what I wanted to do. So, but I'm happy with how everything's flowing now. And I guess that's about it. Maybe I'll have another update in a day or two on finishing it up. So thanks for watching.